And welcome back to 26 Ways to Draw a Letter, brought to you by Secura. I'm Lisa, and together we're going to tackle the letter E today. The letter E. Not my favorite. It's, what can I say, it's like 4 straight lines in 2 different angles. It's boring letter. Really gonna have to squeeze my creativity to come up with 26 different versions of it today. This will be fun. Per usual, grab a pen. I'm using the Secura Pigment Microns and a blank piece of paper, or download the practice sheet from the link in the caption if you want to draw along with me. Okay, E. Let's go. Okay, so per usual, if I'm allowed to say per usual already. Am I? Yeah, I am. Okay, so per usual, I'm using the microns size 12 and 8 to draw this letter in 26 different shape. Okay, pointy, sticky, straight, E. Let's see. First of all, I obviously have to make it less straight and go with some rounder shapes. Almost like, imagine the number 3, but flipped. And I am once more drawing these lines to give the illusion of some light falling in the middle of these 2 half circles. And while I'm doing them, I'm already contemplating the next one, which will be, okay, let's embrace the straight and perhaps even a little bit boring look and make an E with straight lines, but a heavy bottom. Like the 2 first lines are kind of thin, and the third one, can you see, is much thicker, playing a little bit with the proportions there. Speaking of straight lines, I was thinking about making an E out of boxes or squares, whatever you want to call them. So basically, I just imagine piling a bunch of different sized boxes on top of each other, or besides each other, perhaps. We have to imagine this is lying on the floor, right? So they are lying on the floor next to each other. And a small one too, there. Going further with the next line of boxes here. Let's make a small one there, and a smaller one. And I think one last one there. Moving on, I'm making the straight lines a bit wavy, like there's a gentle breeze blowing through grass or something. I'm not sure if I went overboard with that analogy, but if you've been around, you know that I see these letters as pictures rather than just lines or even letters. So it won't be the last weird analogy you've heard if you continue following me. Filling this one in so that it's all black, because I had to make minor touch-ups before, and that means I need to fill it in, otherwise you can see touch-ups. Trick of the trade. Okay, now look, I got this idea that since this is straight lines only kind of letter, I could actually I can make an E out of, let's see if you can guess it. I'm not gonna say it yet. Almost its natural size. Not really, but almost. Okay, this E is made out of 4 matches. Huh. Well, well, well. If someone hasn't been creative. 4 matches and there's your E. Next up, I thought we'd combine the straight letters with some wavy ones to see what effect that could have. So a normal block letter, kind of thick E, and within those straight lines, I'm not doing anything more than drawing 3 wavy lines. Nothing more. Still, look, can you see what happened? It's almost hard to see what kind of letter it is because of those wavy lines that sort of changed the concept. And here's a script. E for ja. Yeah, like that. And per usual, see if you've been watching this for a while, you know about full calligraphy by now. It's a little bonus in this show. You'll also learn the full calligraphy where we draw a parallel line to all the downwards line in a letter, filling in the gap between, making them thicker, as if you had used a nib or a brush pen to draw it. Next up, once more, something totally different than the last letter. Here's a cube that I'm going to turn into an E with 2 minor cubes in it. There, there's an E, a thick one. And there's one more thing that I thought of immediately when I was going to draw the letter E, which is a fork. Okay, so you have to, yeah, I know it doesn't look like the ordinary type of E, but now that you know that it's an E, you can see the E in the fork, right? Or can you see the fork in the E? Here's another wild thing. Not sure that it's gonna work, but I'm thinking of this letter as a variation of the cubical E I made right before the fork, but this time I'm using softer lines. So instead of squares, I'm sort of making a few drops in it to somehow create a resemblance to an E, maybe? Perhaps? No? Okay, per usual, let's just move on. Yeah, I know another picture. I know another thing that has an E shape in it. So what you think now is that I'm drawing an ordinary E. No, I'm not. I am drawing a key. Even rhymes. So here's the E key, if you will. Different. Yeah. Okay, I know. Let's go botanical again. I have a habit of doing that at least once every letter. If I can call it habit. Can I call it habit already? Either way, so there's some sort of stem, palm stem perhaps, and now I'm gonna make 3 leaves. And that's pretty much it. No, it's not looking like a palm, but don't focus on the details. see the bigger picture, and the bigger picture actually looks quite a lot like an E, right? And some grass. Picking up the size 8 for some minor lines here in the leaves. There. Okay. I'm thinking that I ought to make quite the ordinary block letter E, but create a rather big shade on it, like this. The letter E, it's much easier to draw the shade to the left of the letter instead of to the right. You can see why. Because you don't have to make such fuss about the 3 lines on the right side. You can just make the shade from the spine of the letter. Not sure that made sense. Anyways, I am filling this shade in with lines that are pretty close together, almost filling it in with the total black, but I'm keeping a small distance between them. And this is also to trick the eye into believing that there's almost like some sort of light, or that the shade is at least gray-ish, like shades normally are, even though I'm using a black fine liner. Going back to the flipped number. Ooh, you know what? When you look at the when you look at the letter from this angle, it sort of looks like a bikini top. I didn't mean for that to happen, although I am very happy that it did. Look, a bikini top and 2 boobs, the perfect E. Perhaps there's even cup size E. I don't know. There's a bikini top breast kind of E. And I'm also filling them in more like to give some a bit thicker lines on that bikini. Sorry, I meant E. Huh. I actually had no idea that it would look like a bikini top. Cool. Okay, from round to straight lines. So I'm figuring that I'm making the middle line of the E longer, like that. Kind of cool. And here, let's make wobbly sort of E that doesn't quite close, so the ends never meet. And I feel like I want to enhance this wobbliness to almost make it look like some kind of path or something. So I have to make it a little bit thicker. I'm not sure that you follow on my path analogy. I'm not quite sure that I even follow myself, but either way, it's kind of a cool letter form. And I like that it's open at the top. So it could be a path if you wanted to. And yeah, this is me. Touching up, touching up, touching up, touching up, adding more and more and more. It's so hard for me to stop. Okay, come on. Next up. Thank you. Next up is, this is some sort of classic way to design or draw shade outside and within the letter. I'm gonna show you. First, an ordinary shade exactly like the letter above, but the shade is not as thick or deep, if you will. Okay, and I'm gonna fill in the shade with black. There, and there, and there. Okay, now switching to the, just touching up, always touching up. Okay, switching to the size 8 to draw a line within the E. Okay, steady hands now, people. Steady hands. There, you don't want to touch the outline of the E. Have to stay within. Straight lines there, and up, and up, and up, and up, and 2 more lines to go. There. Okay, so now we've created a line within the E, and that one is gonna get some shade. Look. So the shade falls on the same side of the line, which is down to the left, as it did on the big outline of this letter. And there as well. And there. Kind of cool dimensional effect, right? Okay, combination of straight and round lines. There, and in the middle, also some sort of E. Remember the C that looked like it was an O ripped in half? Yeah, well, here's the E equivalent of that. And I'm doing this so that you know that you can use the same technique on different letters. You don't have to invent the wheel all over again, over and over, because that takes a lot of time, effort, and work. Going with a rather, what can I say, elegant, perhaps, serif E, making the serifs almost like triangles here in the end, and also I need a straight line there. Right. And here's a rather wide E. I'm thinking of skipping those 90-degree angles and making them bigger. See? And same here in the bottom. Still some sort of E. Grasping over a lot. And one of the things that I also had in mind beside the key and the fork, one of the pictures that popped up into my mind when I thought about the letter E was a stair, like a staircase, sort of, that you walk up or down. And ta-da, here it is. Making the lines a little bit thicker. There. There, and filling them in. Not actually sure of why I had to make the lines thicker. My brain works in sort of mysterious ways sometimes. Either way, I want to make a drippy or kind of spooky E. I'm not sure it will be spooky. Perhaps it will just be silly. Probably. But almost like there's a strong wind blowing to the right. You see it? That almost tears this E apart. Just like pulls all the gooey from the letter. Yeah, the wind pulls the gooey. Great. I'm filling it in. Don't worry. We're almost there. I'll just get 2 more letters to show you. And then you won't have to listen to my weird, sad analogies anymore. There, I'm filling it in with black. And why I do that, I can tell you that I want to make a thin serif E with like slab serifs. Look, here we go. There's one serif. Here's another one. It's almost like a puzzle. And there's the middle one, and up there, or a labyrinth, right? And there, a maze. Sorry, it's called maze. There and up, down, and ooh, ooh. Kind of cool. Okay, last one, people. E. No, wait. Okay, like that. And there, and filling it in with dots, I think. You know, here's some repetition of dots that are sort of almost evaporating. Oh, look. They are so close here, and then they are slowly flying up into the air within the E, with bigger and bigger distance between them, because there are fewer and fewer. There, there, and there. Okay, people, that was 26 weird versions of the letter E. Thanks for watching.